Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here, and welcome back, guys, on this smashing Saturday for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. And we're going to be doing something a little bit back to basics in this video. There's been a lot of frustration, certainly with all the good news that we got last week, with the price of the cryptocurrency space largely just going sideways and consolidating. And I think there's disappointment around this. There's perhaps frustration. There's always frustration in the cryptocurrency space, especially when it comes to new investors. Overly, I guess, impatient towards getting to the money, getting to what this space, in my opinion, has to offer. So what we're going to be doing towards the latter half of the video, once we've covered some news that's broke over the past 24 hours, is actually looking at the critical junction or critical spot that the total cryptocurrency market caps are in. And I'm going to be showing you what's to come for them. And what we're going to be looking at and referring to is the fact that the total cryptocurrency market cap has actually broken into an all-time high and is consolidating, which is what you'd expect, right around that point of all-time high prior resistance. That's likely going to lead to a push higher, and I'll show you lots of examples of this. But when we look at Total 2, Total 3, and others, it's ran into its all-time high, it's pulling back, but we'll show you the blueprint for what's to come, and we'll use the likes of the S&P, some of the stock market, to show you how new all-time highs are approached and then taken in the journey that the space has ahead of us. Now, that aligns with the general positioning of the space, whether you look at Bitcoin, whether you look at ETPs, whether you look at altcoins and how they're very much phase one into phase two. And it also aligns with the broader macro context and the fundamental story that the cryptocurrency space has ahead of it. So do not fear, All in Crypto is here. We're going to really show you guys that this space has a great time ahead of it, and we'll do that through the lens of the total market caps, obviously representing the overall money in the space. But where we're going to start off is with some news. Now, this was from CNBC just the other day. Just days into President Donald Trump's second administration, Wall Street is singing a different tune on crypto, of course. Even the likes of JP Morgan Chase now advertising Bitcoin custody and lines of credit, which is a big deal, towards the crypto space, certainly Bitcoin now, but the alt sector is going to be allowed to flourish, certainly this time round. There was news from Eric Trump that we'll look at. Not sure how confirmed this is. There's nothing official in regards to zero capital gains in the United States for American-based cryptos, but this is something that's been kind of teased, and there is news that Eric Trump confirmed. Not sure how confirmed it truly is, this for US citizens. Interestingly as well, A16Z, Andrew Horowitz, has actually left the UK because as a business owner in the UK, I've owned businesses since I was 16 years old. It's just getting harder and harder, and they're actually incentivizing a business owner like me to not employ individuals within the UK because of all the national insurance, obviously capital gains, all of the kind of increases that we've seen recently. But that's a personal story. Again, maybe I'm just dogging on the UK, but for us, the equation is really around whether we, as a highly regulated financial institution, can act as transactors. Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick told CNBC on Thursday at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. There's so much coming out of Davos right now. We're kind of got a stockpile of videos that we need to make on various different cryptos that were over there. Of course, Hedera's over there. There was something from Definity, which is ICP's kind of consensus, if you will, or whatever it may be, like Algorand Foundation equivalent. They had Elon Musk's brother, Hashgraph, and ICP Definity all talking about what's to come. And there's something very interesting in that we'll cover. But you are going to see Wall Street ape into this space. You're already starting to see it. You're going to see that come in a big way, and they're going to push billions and trillions through this industry. And when we come on to total market caps and we ease some of that frustration through looking at the markets through the lens of the charts, technical analysis, this fundamental story, this what's about to happening is very much signaled technically. I also just want to address, before we move on to the next thing, the toxic Bitcoin maximalism that I'm seeing right now all over Twitter, certainly around the digital asset strategic reserve. They didn't say Bitcoin strategic reserve. They said digital asset, meaning more than just Bitcoin. The maxis are outraged. Campaigns all over the place saying we didn't vote for a digital asset strategic reserve, but a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I think that's largely inaccurate. I still can't get over the ignorance that is Bitcoin maximalism when it comes to the true innovation that DLTs bring. We compared it to being the first car maximalist and then just stopping there and not producing any other of the vehicles using the engine as the technology that literally make the world go round. Think about how impactful engines truly are. It's like stunting it at what Ford and Benz and these sort of people did back in, was it the 70s, 1700s or 1800s, and just stopping there and just saying, okay, we only need it to replace the car in terms of, this very primitive car that we have. If they did stop there, we wouldn't have the world that we have today. And that's the kind of Bitcoin maxi ethos. It's very much self-destructive. Campaigns all over the place about we don't want XRP as a strategic reserve, etc., etc. It's coming, guys. There's nothing they can do about it. They've already lost that fight. And actually, I think it's very dumb that they're pushing a narrative that isn't even Bitcoin's story anymore. And I've been saying this for the longest. Bitcoin is and everyone's catching up to this now. Bitcoin isn't what it was initially intended to be, a peer-to-peer electronic currency. It is not that. It is a store of value. Institutions own more Bitcoin than anybody. That's not Satoshi's vision. Now we're getting to a stage where more people are going to hold Bitcoin via institutions, taking out that peer-to-peer element, reintroducing the very people that this technology was put forward to combat into the space. And I actually believe, through reading Roger Ver's book, Hijacking Bitcoin, that there was an effort to actually maintain or make sure that Bitcoin could never be used as a currency due to limiting the block size, which, of course, Satoshi did himself back in 2010. We can talk about this for another video, but the Bitcoin maxi toxicity right now is at all-time highs. They're really just showing themselves up, in my opinion. We would happily debate a Bitcoin maximalist. In some senses, I'm a Bitcoin maxi in the sense that I believe Bitcoin is the store of value crypto. But what I don't believe is that DLT's technology and innovative nature stops there. I think it changes the world in many ways. Bitcoin is a part of that, and it has changed people's lives, and you've got to give it credit. We wouldn't be here without it. But it's not the desired destination for this technology and the true intent behind it. Anyway, that's just my own personal take. This is from Jack the Rippler. Eric Trump confirms US-based crypto projects will benefit from zero capital gains tax. Not convinced on this. And also, is Bitcoin an American crypto? I don't know, but surely they're going to incorporate that. Eric Trump confirms US crypto-based projects will benefit from zero capital gains. This week, there's been some big news for US-based crypto projects. Eric Trump confirmed that US-based crypto projects like XRP and HBAR, two of our big positions, will eventually benefit from zero capital gains tax, while non-US based projects will face a 30% tax. Additionally, Ted Cruz plans to use a Congressional Review Act to challenge a controversial IRS rule requiring DeFi brokers to report user data. Critics, including Cruz, argue the rule stifles innovation and infringes on privacy, while growing support Cruz's efforts could lead to changes in crypto tax regulations in favor of innovation and decentralization. Now, despite this being all over Twitter, I don't know if Eric Trump's in any position to confirm anything. It's got to come from Donald Trump first. There's got to be executive orders. We're already seeing some in the forms of regulation, in the forms of stable coins, in the forms of the digital asset stockpile. We're not seeing and haven't seen, other than the hinting of it in articles like this, Eric Trump or Trump himself, the guy in charge, not his son, actually saying this. So I'm sure there's something coming for US-based cryptos. This might have an element to it. The digital asset stockpile might have an element to it. They've just invested $500 billion or set to invest $500 billion in AI. Microsoft doing about $400 billion over 5 years. The government doing the same. So it won't just be the US investing now. Is there going to be a similar thing or bill as it relates to crypto? There's the potential, but nothing that official as of yet. Obviously, also go over and give Eric Balchunas a follow. Great guy. There was a slew of filings. You've got Grayscale. You've got the likes of Solana. These are progressing ahead now. So we now have not just the S1s, we have the 19B4s for Solana, for, of course, Litecoin, and then we have it for XRP also. So this is actually a big deal because this is kind of the final steps to these ETFs becoming official. And remember what that means. That means that now institutions have green lights to enter and get into this space in a big way. And we looked at what the kind of head of the New York Stock Exchange was essentially saying on the back end of all that. We've got this very exciting future ahead of us. I think with all this amazing news, people are very peed off that the price hasn't really done much. You know, if we dive over to Bitcoin, and we always start on a nice macro chart, you can see that Bitcoin's really just been going sideways. It's very much trapped. Let's take a look at it. In a range. We'll go to the 8 hourly. You're very much just coming and hitting your head here. This actually, if we'll dive down a little bit more, I think is going to lead to continuation. I think you've got some sort of a squeeze here that you're ultimately going to break out of. Some sort of a compression is really what I mean by squeeze. Anybody that's familiar with Bollinger Band techniques will know this. And that's ultimately going to take you and clear this range that Bitcoin has really been in since sort of December last year or November going into December. So we are going to get progression of this space. I think it comes this week. The broader trajectory that we have for Bitcoin is an exceptionally clear one. Certainly technically, we've got a number of confluencing reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin and thus the cryptocurrency space. Now, when we look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, it's very, very common, and we can show you hundreds of examples of this, when you take a key level of significance, in this instance being all-time highs for the crypto space as a market cap, you'll come back and you'll retest it and you'll bounce off it before you're set for continuation. And the beautiful thing is when it comes to the total, we actually have technical patterns, one of which has already been met from this bull flag, that see us go higher. And look at all the volume you're seeing. The charts that I want to focus on really is the total 2, which is everything excluding Bitcoin. And despite the frustration, we have a beautiful and amazing time ahead of us, guys. When charts typically take all-time highs, you can get what we saw with the total. You'll break it and you'll pull back into it. Or you can get, for example, you find that resistance as that, you'll pull back, you'll set up some sort of a handle, and then you'll see a journey similar to what we looked at and actually predicted with the S&P 500. So those of you that have been following long enough will know we've got a great track record when it comes to the stock market. We have higher targets for the S&P 500. But I want you to focus on this here and how when you ran into your all-time highs, you sold off and it was short before you then went on a broader trajectory. That's the journey that the total cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin, the total cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, total 3, you can see all-time highs, pullback, and then continuation. And the others chart all have ahead of it. And we can show you quite literally hundreds of examples here. NVIDIA was perhaps more of a total market cap one. You know, you can see you broke, you consolidated, and then you saw this continuation. There's lots and lots of charts out there that we can show you. Let me just show you a couple. So if I go to my watch list, we'll take a look at the likes of the DAX. This is one that did very well for us. You know, you can see you ran into all-time highs, you pulled back, and then you went on this broader trajectory. It even broke and sort of consolidated like the total's doing. This is the route that you very much have ahead of you, and the DAX very much getting towards our big target. Microsoft's another one, all-time high, pull back, and then continuation. You know, do not fear, guys. Allincrypto is here. We've got an amazing time ahead of us, which is, of course, technically signaled, and we can do an entirely longer video on this, which we will, I'm sure, do at some point, just to highlight the critical nature of where the total market cap are all of them, total 3, total 2, and others. And the fact that this is very normal, very natural, and is going to lead to continuation in a typical fashion that markets break out into price discovery. That is it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm wishing you all a smashing Saturday. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.